Thank you, Madam Chair, and Ranking Member Lucas for holding this markup today. I urge all my colleagues to support my legislation, the Brycen, Gray, and Ben Price COVID-19 Cognitive Research Act. I was proud to introduce this legislation alongside my friends Ms. Wild and Mr. Meyer, and would like to thank each of them for their leadership on this issue. Also, I want to thank the majority and minority staff for working with my team, as well as stakeholders, including the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the Children's Hospitals Association for supporting this legislation. Adored by his parents, Sean and Tara, as well as his brothers, Ricky and Patrick, Brycen Gray was a 17-year-old young man from my district in Northeast Ohio, who passed away just a little over a year ago. Dubbed a comedian by his friends and family, Brycen was funny, quick-witted, and capable of inspiring the kind of laughter that makes you cry. He was a loving, charismatic, and selfless individual, always putting the needs of others ahead of his own. A loving husband to his wife Jennifer and devoted father to two amazing children, Ben Price was a 48-year-old business owner and farmer from Illinois who died in early 2021. Ben's life revolved around his family, friends, and numerous passions, which included forming the Special Connections of Grundy County, whose mission is to connect people with disabilities like their beloved son Jet to their community. He led by example and loved without reservation. Both Brycen and Ben tragically passed after battles with long COVID. Despite having no history of mental illness, each of them began battling symptoms such as anxiety, panic, and paranoia. The disease took Brycen and Ben from two of the healthiest, most vibrant people you could find to individuals so debilitated that they could not bear to live another day. While they fought to the bitter end, each chose to end their pain. Following Brycen's death, his family reached out to me to share his story. Without question, it was the most difficult conversation I've had in my time in Congress. I made a promise to his family then that the top priority of my office in my remaining time in Congress would be to do everything in my power to support efforts to find answers for their son's death and improve our understanding of COVID-19's impact on the brain. The legislation before us today is the culmination of those efforts. What we found thus far is that as many as 1 in 3 COVID-19 survivors experience a cognitive impairment following their acute infection. More alarming, nearly 1 in 8 COVID-19 survivors are diagnosed with an illness for the first time. While anxiety, mood, and brain fog are among the most common symptoms, researchers have also uncovered a prevalence of serious complications such as psychosis, dementia, and brain hemorrhages. Despite the significant progress made by researchers to improve our understanding, it remains unclear how the virus alters brain function, who is most at risk, and what can be done to quickly diagnose and treat impacted patients. The Brycen Gray and Ben Price COVID-19 Cognitive Research Act aims to close those research gaps by accelerating our research efforts. Specifically, it authorizes the NSF to award grants on a competitive basis to support interdisciplinary research on the disruption of regular cognitive processes associated with both short-term and long-term COVID-19 infections. Grantees will be tasked with carrying out foundational studies on the effects of cognition, emotion, neural structure, and function related to COVID-19 infections, developing new tools to evaluate cognitive disruptions from COVID-19, and examining the relevance of psychological and psychosocial factors. In addition, the bill stands up a team at the National Academies to study and produce a report on the issue. We can't bring Brycen and Ben back, but we can ensure that their memories live on. I don't want to lose any more Americans because we weren't bold enough to take on an issue that scares us, an issue we don't fully understand, an issue that is much more common than many in this body recognize. No family should have to endure the tragedy of losing a loved one from COVID-19's cognitive impacts. The Brycen Gray and Ben Price COVID-19 Cognitive Research Act ensures we will do everything in our power to find answers and deliver solutions. Finally, Madam Chair, I ask unanimous consent to include in the record letters of support from both the Gray and Price families.
Without objection, those letters will be included.
Thank you. With that, Madam Chair, I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 7180, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Thank you.